YouTube. How's it going out there? We're gonna do a quick, I don't know, first impressions video of my funded futures. Stay tuned. I think you're gonna like it. Hey everybody, Prop Firm Trader here. And so I have, I've mentioned, if you are watching the live stream, I've talked about my funded futures. I wanted to try it, and I have. And I think you're really going to be pleased and impressed. And I'm going to talk about the advantages and then potentially the disadvantages, and kind of, I don't know, tell you about my experience with it. And there you go. So my funded futures is another prop firm, very similar to Apex, but also very different from Apex. The main differences, at least initially, is their payout windows are based on days, not calendar days. So it's 14 days. You have the account. If you are in profit, then you can make a withdrawal. That's the essence of it. There are obviously some gotchas in there, but it's not that bad. And a couple of other things that are pretty cool about my funded futures is their support is fantastic. The Discord is amazingly helpful. You can jump in there, and they're very nice, very professional, and absolutely have no problem taking your question. Pretty good community, or I should say an excellent community. I don't know very many of the members, but I've talked to several of the mods, and they're great. The rules are perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable, to be honest. So I signed up for a expert account. I did that because there's effectively no rules, right? The rules are don't blow up and close every day profitably. That's the essence of the rules, right? So don't take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. Get out there and read the rules and stuff. But that's kind of been my experience so far. As customer service is great. The rules are definitely workable within my trading strategy, my trading structure. But I did want to just share some of those pieces. One of the kind of the cool thing that my funded futures does is once you have an account. Actually, I think I had that kind of set up. Once you have an account, and now that I say that out loud, I had some challenges getting my account established. So I went in, I filled out the forms, I hit submit, and then it was like nothing, right? It was nothing, and it was definitely not the experience that I thought. And so I went in again because I was very interested in using my funded futures. And the second attempt, I don't know if it was just me or if I was on a funky browser or whatever, but the second attempt, perfectly fine. The account was established. Was able to go in and buy eval. All right, I think my funded futures they're considered challenge accounts, and I don't know if I still have the history of that. Okay, so funny story. Okay, not very funny, but so my very first, my funded futures account number 1, I opened on the 23rd, and immediately, like literally the first series of trades, smoked it. just freaking smoked it. I wonder if those charts still exist. Probably not in Quant Tower, but it just a real tough open. The it was kind of one of these moves where it was just huge and um, kind of like one of these moves where it was just a massive move and like instant, and it just got me, right? That's the only way to put it. It got me. Um, I smoked that account in 3 minutes, maybe. Very first trade. A little bit embarrassed by that, but not really, right? That certainly happens. And then got my second account. So went back in, bought another challenge, and um, yeah, passed it, right? So the took me what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and the challenge is fairly straightforward. You just get your balance above 54,000. I did that by $1.04. That's right. Nothing like cutting it close. And the one of the kind of fun things that they do is they give you statistics and all that stuff. But here you can see those, 4 days. Wait, that's definitely not. That is not enough days. 500, 1,000, and 600 is not 4 grand. Okay, well, regardless, um, I just YOLO'd a few of them, you know, 3 grand and under 15-second trades, 3 grand and 15 to 45-second trades, about 400, and then lost 1,500. And this is the challenge account. And so once I got that through, then it automatically transitions over to a sim funded is the correct term. And here's one of the really cool things about my funded futures. You're only paying for eval accounts. Once you're into a funded account, there's no more fees. There's no more monthly payments. There's none of that. The sticker shock is pretty bad, right? If you're coming from Apex where it's $35 for an eval or $40 for an eval, whatever the current sell is, moving that to 165, I think is what I paid, 165, and that's just for a eval. That certainly makes you think a little bit more. It makes you kind of, ooh, that's a little pricey. But in my opinion, if you're consistent and you're not smoking, evals constantly, and you're not just churning through accounts, I definitely think my funded futures has that advantage over Apex. I think if you were still, like growing and working on consistency and kind of in that vein, that Apex is better suited. And that's purely a cost basis. It's $35 for an eval versus $165 eval, and if you're smoking those $165 evals, that's the difference, and it adds up. The $165 is for the expert account. I know, super humble of me, but that's the one that I picked because there's no rules. There's no consistency rule. There's no DCA rule. You still, I think, on the 50K, you can trade connies, 5 contracts, but the starter account, which I did look at the starter account, and I think it's about half the price. It has other advantages that the expert doesn't have. Um, One of those is you can get payouts faster. You can, I think, with the starter, you can get payouts. As soon as you have $1,000 in profit, you can request a payout and get at least a piece of it. To be honest, I did not spend much time looking at the eval or the starter set because it does have a scaling rule and a consistency rule, and sometimes I make way more money on one trade versus my normal trade, and I didn't want to lose that advantage, and I didn't want to have um, what am I trying to say? I didn't want to have other limits that I already know that I can trade around. So I think for me in my situation, the expert account was appropriate. For you in your situation, maybe it's a starter account, but do your due diligence. It's perfectly fine. And one of the things I want to talk about is the payout, because I was really, really confused for quite a while on like what the deal is on Apex. On a 50K account, you get to 52,600 and you stop trading because you're done at that point, right? At that point you can withdraw $2,000. On my fund of futures, it's a little different, and what I mean by that is they have given us the ability to take to to take some of your profits before the buffer zone. So the buffer zone is 52,100. And if it takes you more than 14 days, you can take a percentage of your buffer zone. And there's some ramifications to that. So if you are under the drawdown and you take a piece of your buffer as profit, then you basically wreck your account. Same thing at Apex. You take your $2,000 and now you don't have any buying power, or you don't have any drawdown, and that's awful. However, at my fund of futures, you have 14 calendar days between payments, and what they want you to do, the structure they want you to follow, is you build up your buffer and then you keep going. And so that's definitely a change from Apex. You make your profit target and then you quit. At my fund of futures, you make your profit buffer level and then you keep going. And what they let you do is every 14 days, you can take 100% of whatever's above the green line. So whatever is above 52,100, you can take out. And right now on this account, I think I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, and my balance is 53,800. So I could stop trading today and take out $1,720. The distance between the lines and the lines. I can also take more of this, but there's some guidelines with that. And what they really want you to do is they want you to earn your buffer and then respect your buffer level. So you always have this, minimum of $2,000 drawdown, which clearly is why, certainly is why I smoked so many PA accounts at Apex, because it was so easy. You do the eval. A lot of times you can push through the eval in like 1 or 2 days, and then you have a PA account, and then you get to your profit target in 10 days and take it out. So here at my fund of futures, you don't have to do all that. It's quite a bit harder, admittedly. You gotta make $4,000 in your challenge account. And then it rolls over for free, like there's no more money. It rolls over into your sim funded account, and then you got to make another 2 grand. So like you got to make 6 grand before you start start getting to the withdrawal phase. I kind of like it because I'm not gonna waste very many accounts, and I'm already at a payout level, which is basically equivalent of what Apex was doing. And I think, what do we decide? 7 days. So I got another 7 calendar days to trade this. So another week, and I'm just gonna keep pushing, just keep pushing. That first payout from my fund of futures, hopefully, I'm gonna cross my fingers, is 4 grand, maybe 6 grand, who knows? But because there's no consistency rule, if I'm having a really good day, I can just go, balls to the wall, all in, and all of those profits count toward my withdrawal. I think that's amazing. So I think that's fantastic. And certainly, I can absolutely tell you I have good days and bad days. I'm sure everybody else does. Like, this was $300. That's the worst day that I've had so far. But this one was, 1,100. That was great. That was a good day. And because there's no DCA rule, this is how much money I made the same day that I smoked most of my PA account at Apex. And it was being forced to use the stops and no DCA, so I couldn't get into a trade and then get a better average. It was, and that particular day sucked. I think that was like labor numbers or something, jobs numbers, and the whipsaws and the just these big moves, super hard to trade with fixed stops. And that's one of the differences for me. I focus on great entries. You buy the bottom, you sell the top, and then you kind of hope and pray. And most of the time it works. Sometimes not. Definitely not all the time. But if you have some decent drawdown and some patience, they almost always work out, or at least most of the time they work out. At least to the point where you can get break even. And with the probation period and the hard stops, it just sucked me out. And I just noticed that my calendar was up too high. Sorry, and I'm talking about this day, Friday, last Friday. I think I lost 2,200 at Apex, and ended up making 1,200 at my fund of futures. Almost identical trades. I was trading both of them back to back. So there is that. As far as the payouts go, see if I can get this to where you can see it also. So there are a couple elements here that I really had a hard time getting my head around. But once I understood it, it's very straightforward and it totally makes sense, and it's a very good thing. It's a very positive thing. If you are consistent and you are most of the time making money, my fund of futures is probably a very reasonable option for you. So the first 10 grand each account is yours, and then after that, 90%. Certainly that seems very reasonable. You get the opportunity to make a withdrawal every 14 days. So every 14 calendar days, you can take at least $1,000, but you can take anything above the buffer zone. So hopefully next weekend, not like tomorrow weekend, but next weekend, we'll see where that ends up, and we can update our October payouts. They do claim that their payouts are 1 to 3 days, right here. Your 1 to 3 days, and obviously I want to test that. I want to see how close they are to 1 to 3 days, because that would be a huge advantage um, over some other firms out there that take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 3 weeks, and then ask for more information and then delay your payment even further and cause more work. And I can see that being a very positive thing. Every 14 days you can get another payout. They do have if you are on a starter account, you have a 40% consistency rule. So you just have to deal with that. Now, this is the paragraph that I really struggled with. It just didn't make sense to me for so long. Between account lifespan and withdrawals and this buffer zone clarity, it really just mentally, I just couldn't get my hands around it. But as I said, what they want is they want you to exceed your profit or your buffer zone and then make profits above and beyond that. So if you are struggling to get to your buffer zone, or it's just been a long time or whatever, you can take 60% with a minimum of $1,000 withdrawal. So if you get to whatever that number is, $2,000 minus some change, if you get to $2,000, you can take 60% of that. So you can take $1,200 to you, but the threshold will be locked to 0, and your buffer zone resets to 0, and you basically give up 40% of your profits. And I was like, wow, why would I do that? That's stupid, right? I want my money. Give me my money. And then they have this other paragraph here that is, you can withdraw the buffer zone, this zone. You in reality can withdraw that buffer zone at any time, but they basically charge you. So you can do 60% of your profits with these conditions, that they basically reset your account. You lose 40%. If you withdraw the entire profits, you get, for the first 45 days, you're only entitled to 20% of the net reserves. For 45 to 90 days, you can get 50% of the reserves, and after 90 days, you get 90% of the reserves. And the way that I interpreted that is the reserves are your buffer zone. So you grind this out for 90 days, and then I'm done, whatever. You can take 90% of that $2,000 or 2,100 versus the 60% and then 40%. But I don't know, admittedly, you gotta admit these things are kind of hokey. And then withdrawal thresholds are $2,000 on a 50K, 3K on 100K, and 4,500 on a 150. So, and I just think everything so far is just very, very reasonable, very well thought through. If you are profitable, if you are most of the time green, I 100% think my fund of futures makes sense. If you are still working through your consistency and working on your strategy, and I do think Apex is still the best value. I think that's probably probably all that I wanted to say about that. One of the other things that's really, really nice is My Fun and Futures uses Quant Tower, which is the same thing that I use on Apex, and now I use it on for both of them, My Fun and Futures and Apex. Right, here's Apex, and here's My Fun and Futures, and everything like clicks over, and it's fine. I did struggle a little bit getting Quant Tower set up. There's you have to make a Quant Tower to do multiple brokers. You have to do a Quant Tower account, which is nothing. You just give them your email and some other sign-in information and stuff. But you don't have to buy anything for, I think it's a week. You get a week trial, and then Quant Tower, I think they're all in one is $70 a month, or you can go by package, and the simultaneous brokers is in their advanced features package. I think that was $30 a month. I haven't bought it yet, but I'll let you guys know how that works. But that's pretty cool. You don't have to have multiple multiple brokers and multiple trading platforms up. It just is all there, and it's literally one click away. One of the differences for My Fun and Futures is they truly use Quant Tower for trading and account management and that kind of stuff. So one of the things that I got to figure out a spot for is this little box, and so that's my Fun and Futures account. And if you guys watch the live stream, like and subscribe, use my codes, etc. If you are watching my live stream, I have generally like my rhythmic and my profit loss just kind of sitting there so you can see it. But Quant Tower doesn't really have like a summary, or if they do have a summary, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't found it. So I'm going to work on that, and hopefully I can do that better. For now, I'm just going to drag that profit over, when I'm wrapping the stream up, or if anybody has a question or whatever, I can show you. That's neat, right? I like it. It's a good thing. And I think that was everything I wanted to say about my first impressions. So far they do exactly what they say they're going to do. The Discord, the crew in the Discord, fantastic. I have used their web chat. I don't remember if I talked about that, but when I passed my challenge account going to a paid account, it took a little while to set up, and I pinged them, and they were super helpful and found it, and made it happen. Like really, really quick, super responsive, very positive experience so far. And there you go. I think that's all. Thank you all for watching. Do like and subscribe if you're gonna grab a challenge account or eval account. Thank you for using my code. I definitely appreciate those of you who have used it and continue to use it. It is definitely appreciated. Hopefully we'll get into a position where we can kind of reduce the work, like the job work, the life work, that kind of stuff, and just focus on trading and make gobs and gobs and gobs of money and go from there. I'm sure we all share that same dream. Just gotta keep grinding it out. Thank you guys. Prop Firm Trader, I'm out. You guys have a good night, and we will see you live just before the bell.